YouTube, what the crap's going on? HeirofCarthage here, actually here in video and via commentary, so I guess this is my first video commentary. And on top of that change, I was going to change things up a little bit too with what kind of battles we're going to look at, basically. I've uploaded 350 Rome 2 online battles, plus some if you count the faction focuses, so decided I wanted to do just a little bit different here, and we'll add in the camera here to see if maybe that makes things feel more interactive, but then also just figured it might be fun to switch things up a little. I was thinking my online battles will kind of switch to like a semi-historical type of matchup, just something that would either be fun or something based loosely off history. You know, I'm not going to get too much into the details here because I'm not exactly a history teacher. Yeah, this first one that we set up was an Iceni versus Rome that was supposed to be kind of like a Caesar and Britannia thing here. Yes, the Roman armies, some of them bring Hastati and stuff like that, which may not have been exactly the same with Caesar. But yeah, just close enough. Legionary cav, legionaries, auxiliary infantry, that kind of thing. And then as Britannia, of course, you know, we're pretty much just going to bring whatever's available on the roster. So yeah, that's our option. So my teammate and I are going to deploy here, and then check it out. Nice historical setting here too at Stonehenge, right? This place is falling apart, even back then apparently. No, actually, this was a popular nightclub in old Britannia. This is actually where all the Briton tribes would get together and party hard, basically, to the sweet sounds of druidic music and chants. Okay, probably not, but that's my version of history, so there you go. Little history for you. Anyway, let's take a look at the armies. We'll take an overhead view. I've got 4 sword band in the center. My teammate has 4 chosen sword band behind them, along with 2 heroic nobles. I also have a heroic noble, and it's out here on this flank. It's my general. My 2 chosen sword band are on this flank, and then I've also got 3 slingers backing up my sword band. And then we were hoping to be kind of sneaky here with some scout riders. And maybe mine stayed hidden. I don't really know, but these 2 became visible. So 2 of them are mine, 2 of them belong to my teammate. Our opponents, on the other hand, are using Hastati to guard legionaries, and each of them is in possession of, I believe, 4 legionary cavalry. Yeah, one's hidden in the woods right there. So 4 here, 2 there, and then 2 in the center. They each have a general and bodyguard. And then they've all brought Velites too, because I guess they didn't think they could bring Balearics or Syrians, and I would have been fine with either one. But hey, not unhappy that they didn't bring them. So yeah, let's jump into this battle, and hopefully it'll be fun. You know, like I said, there's a lot of fun ideas I think that you could run down with kind of a semi-historical theme like this, which would kind of be limitless, I think. We can hit Shogun too, we can hit Napoleon, we can hit medieval. We could do all kinds of stuff here, and that's kind of my mentality. Leave some suggestions, and honestly, the suggestions that start to get some of the most thumbs up down in the comments, I'll be taking a close look at those, and those will be suggestions that we try and hit in this series. So yeah, and this is blade balance here too on this game, just so you all know. So my plan overall in this, and my teammate was going to help me, was I was hoping we could skirmish them a little bit using the long range that my slingers had. Whilst we did some harassment with our light scout cavalry, which is out here, and indeed we are already in the process of harassing. So I'm going to roll my scout riders out of the woods, and then my teammate's also going to give chase, and we're going to kill some of these legionary cavalry. Legionary cav are well armored, and they have a decent block chance. I'm a little worried over here because we have 4 legionary cav stacked against our flank, and if they're used properly and aggressively, it can cause some serious problems, potentially getting to my slingers and helping to kill my infantry. My sword band would be quite weak to an infantry charge from a legionary cav, even though it's just a medium cav. Sword band are pretty light infantry. Decent number of casualties that we inflicted here on the legionary cav. They are down to 52 out of 60. Never hurts to do some of those, do a little bit of that damage early. It looks like I got 3 kills and my teammate got 2 kills there, so not exactly who all got. Oh, both my guys have 3. Do forgive my voice. I'm a little sick right now. I'm getting over it, so be patient with my voice. And also, I'm getting used to the camera, and I noticed that I actually did kind of like a test filming, and I was kind of like scowling and looking down most of the time. And I'm sure you all don't want that for a face camera, so I will do my best to make sure that my face isn't like scowling and just kind of looking down the whole time. So yeah. Anyway, I'm telling you, my teammate and I were pretty scared, honestly, because Rome's a tough faction. And Iceni definitely has the ability to beat them, but they're going to have to force the Romans to make some mistakes. And honestly, this is one of those mistakes here. If we mark it here on the map, you can see my cavalry is kind of just baiting and switching with this Roman cavalry out here, and it's going to cause them a lot of problems. It's definitely going to get a lot of their men killed. They're down to 45 there in this unit, so taking some pretty heavy casualties. It is using up a lot of our javelins, but it's worth it if we can take some of that cavalry off the field. And then over here, the Romans are kind of unsure. This Hastati line has kind of started here, and then it moved down here, and now they're kind of moving back over here, and that's good. The longer they take to start this engagement, the better, because we can kill more Roman cavalry. One of these units, yeah, is down to 26, so killed a lot of Roman cavalry. And I'm going to get up here behind the Roman, and hopefully this will get the attention of these guys. I don't want their attention up here on our swords and our slingers, but unfortunately the Roman does seem to kind of care less about my scout cap back here at the moment. But I definitely want to keep their attention. That can be one of the usefulness, the uses, sorry, of a light cavalry unit can just be to fix the attention of a heavier cavalry unit that thinks it's going to get the kill. I'm going to do a little bit of skirmishing on these Hastati, try and pull them into an engagement they don't want to be in. And already they are getting a little bit in front of their support from the Principe. You would want your Principe right behind this line, but for some reason, this Roman player is kind of engaging piecemeal, and his teammates not supporting that engagement at the moment. And honestly, they could probably overrun us over here had they made a coordinated early attack and just ignored the Scout Riders. The worst thing the Scout Riders could have done was, I think, get the General or the Velites, and for the Romans, neither one of those would have been a huge worry here. This Hastati definitely took some damage. And now it's going to get charged by Chosen Swordband, and right here, this Painted Warrior got a very solid charge and absolutely wrecked the Hastati. Though it won't be a very cost-effective exchange, because these Velites are hurling javelins in and killing quite a few of the Painted Warriors. This poor guy's got, yeah, he's got some javelin-related issues now. Anyway, my Chosen Swordsman helped there, but we're taking some Velite fire. Over here, some Roman cavalry is going to support against my sword band, which is already doing questionably in this battle against the Hastati, but the charge from the Romans comes into the back of their own men, which hopefully will minimize the impact on my men, and the Romans being very conservative with the cavalry over here, not trying to get through any gaps or anything, which is good. It gives my slingers time to do some work, and I am firing at the Roman cavalry that's in this engagement, probably hitting my own men as well. But starting to do some damage, and just kind of pulled my cavalry up right behind the Roman general here. Really wanting to, again, just try and get the attention of the Roman, and they do continue to send cavalry. This is good. Over here, however, this engagement is not going to go well for us. You can see just by numbers, the Romans have us outnumbered pretty bad. My teammate is going to bring support in, but it's a little ways away, and my cavalry is a little ways away as well. My general is going to go ahead and engage this blob in an attempt to get as many kills as possible. Give me just a second, I'm going to get a drink. You like watching me get a drink? Sure you do, but kind of necessary on a night when my voice is failing. My voice is failing harder than Patchy's micro. Yeah, that was actually a nice move here. That Roman cavalry gets away from the Painted Warriors, and then they get crushed by the Legionaries, and they are not going to do well in that fight. Now over here, the Roman cavalry is attempting to get to my slingers. The enemy general, or no, just this legionary cav charges my heroic nobles and knocks a few of them down. The unit isn't very cohesive, so the Roman cavalry is going to attempt to get through to my slingers, which is a dangerous situation for me. But some of the Roman infantry over here is getting wrapped up. The auxiliary infantry is getting beaten down by my Chosen Swordband. Actually, that Roman cavalry does not come through there. My bad, sorry. And then there's an engagement here. Chosen Swordband getting into shield wall. They will hold out for quite a long time versus the Legionaries, and they did really well in the charge. And then this Chosen Swordband is going to be the same thing, except it's in a more one-on-one scenario, so it will actually perform pretty well. And there's a heroic noble here to kind of protect the rear, though the Roman cavalry should be going for this rear charge right here. It's a overmatched swordband that would easily rout if charged, while our scout cavalry is still keeping the Roman cavalry busy and killing quite a few of them, so being very effective. My teammates' reinforcements get over here, and they're going to start helping out in this fight. My general is in the process of dying, and there's not a whole lot that I can do to save him at this point. He's just going to die. So again, the Roman takes the piecemeal engagements over here, and it's allowing me to kind of overwhelm and win in a one-on-one scenario, which is really good for me. His cavalry really should have engaged sooner when it would have been easier for him to have that numeric advantage. Now my infantry will kind of be able to get in the way. And get in the way they did. They took a nasty charge there. But they're not going to be able to break through the chosen sword band. They'll cause some casualties, but that'll start to turn around here pretty quickly. The Roman general, on the other hand, charges, and it's going to get through my infantry, and my slingers are right behind. And it's going to require me to take a quick action with this cavalry. I did keep it in reserve for just this reason, because I knew that my slingers would be vulnerable. The Roman general knows that it's overmatched, and he retreats, but then this legionary cav is inbound, determined to get my slingers. It's a juicy target indeed. While here, my sword band are going to move to trap the legionary cav and help defeat it, when otherwise it was winning that fight. My veteran riders will win this fight against the legionary cav pretty handy. So at this point, in kind of a desperation attempt, the Roman hasn't really paid attention to my scout cavalry sitting here. I'm out of javelins. I kind of thought this Hastati was open for a rear charge, but it really wasn't. So I do try a rear charge with this scout rider. It's a light cavalry though, a very light cavalry, so it's not going to cause much damage. But I was hoping for anything here, and I got nothing. I think my guys get one kill. It was a very ineffectual charge, essentially. So yeah, such a good charge. Very light cavalry in the back of heavy infantry always works out great. No, it can cause some morale damage, but in this case it just wasn't enough. So if we take a look back over here at this fight, the chosen sword band are kind of starting to buckle under the pressure. They need some help. I've got some scout cavalry, but it's being chased off by the legionary, and the Iceni general comes in here to kind of help stabilize this fight, which was very much needed. But now the Roman cavalry is free to charge. Fortunately, it doesn't get a very good charge on this chosen sword band, so the chosen sword band's going to survive. And I've managed to wrap up this flank, and I can now start transferring units, but it's a long haul back over here. My general's dead, which means that my men's morale is starting to suffer, essentially. So, yeah, gonna have to be careful with their morale. Give me a second. It won't be like this every time, folks. My voice is even more grizzled than usual right now. So yeah, my slingers are getting some shots into the Romans from here. They're a little blobbed up, but it doesn't matter. So I took a few shots, but I don't want to kill too many of my own men. I do a rear charge with these scout riders, and it inflicts just enough morale damage to cause this legionary to waver, and it was badly needed right here. And with the heroic noble nearby winning its fight, that rear charge actually becomes pretty decisive at this point in the battle and drives off the Roman legionaries. You can see this unit routing, and this unit's going to rout as well. I sent some veteran riders in here too just to seal the deal, because those Romans were hanging on. And now we can transfer everything back over here. But more importantly, if you notice this right here, the balance of power, it's flipping in our favor, and that's going to start playing a role in the morale of the Romans, and it's going to make them start to break sooner. So fortunately, this battle's about to tip in our favor. Even though I'm just kind of like a singled out engagement, this flank was going a lot better for the Romans than the other flank. Yeah, not a whole lot going on here though. My veteran rider came back from routing. Earlier it tried a cheeky charge, which did almost rout a Hastati, but the Roman general turns away from that engagement. The other legatus comes up thinking that maybe he wants it, but then turns away too. So I'm going to bring my veteran riders back and get a rear charge. But at this point the Roman general comes back. So I'm like, alright, guess we'll charge the Roman general. So I'm going to use the frenzy and the wedge on my veteran riders. Don't really know if it's the best thing, but both should increase the charge. And really want to cause as much charge damage to the Roman as I can. And I get a decent charge here. And it also increases my melee attack. So I'm wanting to kill the general quickly. At this point, the Roman resolve just breaks from rear charges and army losses. So the Romans are going to rout. They used raised banner and stuff, which was, you know, a nice try, but it was a little bit too late. Hope you all enjoyed this first historical scenario, and I hope you enjoyed it more than my voice being all cracky and, you know, ready to give out. Like I said, that'll go back to its normal grizzled self soon. Yeah, my teammate did a great job here. He picked up more kills, which was kind of expected. He brought heavier, more sturdy infantry, and then I was just basically providing more support. One of my infantry did pretty good. The rest of them were not so great. Whereas units, as you can see, that did very well, and his scout riders also did extremely well. even better than mine, which did a decent job in the battle, but his did quite a bit better. The Roman players just weren't really able to rack up that many kills with their infantry, and in the end, that's what's going to make the difference. I kind of felt like this player brought too many weaker infantry and should have had maybe more legionaries supporting fewer hastati or auxiliary infantry, and it would have made his army a little more dangerous. Use that cavalry a little more aggressive, and he probably would have had better luck. Anyway, hope y'all enjoyed this battle and the new format. Tell me what you think. Leave your comments below on what you want to see in an upcoming semi-historical matchup. Remember, it can be on any Total War. Now, if it's going to be in the Rome Total War era, we'd probably want to do it on Rome 2, not Rome 1. But feel free to take a look at Medieval 2, Empire, Napoleon, whatever it is. Tell me what you want to see from a historical scenario. I will try and get it, and we'll keep the series going, and this will kind of be our fun thing to take a stab at here for a while. HeirofCarthage signing off for now. I'll see you all next time.